you must be talking about that linchpin life.
Talking or
So we started without me introducing you. So what
oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
say is,
we just hey, see,
hey, we just got
I'm good
into
for
it.
your.
So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna let that
Wait
air.
a minute. I'm good for your audience. See, they don't like people that play. Ah, hey, how you doing? Now let's
Yeah,
get
yeah.
right
Hey, we
to
in it
it.
now. So, hey, ladies and gentlemen, y'all don't know who I'm talking to because you just came in on the conversation. So let me introduce him. I
Okay.
gotta introduce him. His name is Ed Corral. He's the CEO of Peer Tracks, the 360 streaming service. His new company is also Music XR for extended reality that is in the service companies. And it basically helps convert your files to create a 360 mix and develop your NFT project. He is in this, he's not new to this mining game. He actually owned some Bitcoin back in the day and got rid of it. I know he hates that, but
Wouldn't you like 10 Bitcoin right now?
I would love it.
Wouldn't you
I
like
would
to?
love
Let
it.
me. There's a lot of guys that have. Back when I started mining, there were a lot of guys like me that I mean, still today have a couple thousand Bitcoin. Little
Wow.
farmer, little guys you would just have no just earthly idea. Just started putting a little mining machine in the back of the garage and just and back then you could acquire and accumulate a lot faster. You know, today it's to put them you got to have, just to get one Bitcoin in a year.
Yeah.
So the mining process of pulling, extracting, and being part of the network to earn Bitcoin, that whole industry has. Whew, I
Let me
mean,
ask you this though,
yeah.
with the mining, what's coming up now is it energy efficient? Is it great for for the world? Because they say it uses so much. Like, what is that going to offset any of the success of the mining in the
Oh
Bitcoin
my
world?
God! It's like, could you analyze the mining diamond farms or gold in South Africa? What America is spending on those farms, unbelievable, to mine gold, diamonds out of the ground. They don't care. As many of those rocks, they don't care. Same thing with the Bitcoin. Right now, the war is between, always anyway, with China and America. Who's got the biggest mining farm? Do you know here in Texas, in Austin, there it's close by, I think in between, one of the largest mining farms in the world here in Texas. I just found that out 3 days ago. But they're taking on China, and you're right. It wasn't until recently where when Bitcoin was down at 5 and 10,000, people were like, "Whoa, okay, we're right. We're kind of breaking even." But now, a lot of people have pulled right off the top to invest more into the machines. Right? When
Okay,
Bitcoin was
yeah.
20,000, today it's trading 58,000 a Bitcoin. So the profit is there.
Yeah, the
But you're right.
Bitcoin,
It is how you
PayPal,
manage. Like the one in Switzerland that sits on the
mhm,
mountain. They don't
yeah,
need to. They don't need to cool. It self cools because it's up. The cool air is, 24 365 a year, right?
yeah.
So it's energy efficient. Yes, those are concerns, but again, you're mining for the long term play. Somebody here's a 2 second story. So if somebody said, go over there and dig, and it's all the gold you can find. Only one person and one shovel. It's all you can take. Where do I get the shovels? Ah, the shovels are over there, but they're $10,000 a piece. Right? I'm gonna go
Hey,
spend money. I'm gonna get and you said it's all over there, and that's all it get. I'm gone because maybe I think gold is going to, and this is the time to get it. Those $10,000 shovels may be 50 tomorrow. See, right, as commodities trading,
yeah.
and that's kind of what these NFTs are all about.
NFT is the talk, is the topic. Bitcoin, you got PayPal just decided they're gonna do something. You got the big banks, you got JP Morgan, they're getting in the game. Everybody is now starting to get in this game when we were once saying, nah, that's a bubble that's gonna bust. I'm scared of that, and that is not happening. So we got to talk about it, man. If anybody knows about this NFT, this blockchain, you know it, Ed, and get back in the way you were talking, man. So
Okay.
now everybody know who they
Hey,
watch.
look, and if you get questions or anybody, just jump in and, because I just get to rambling, but I think it's important we understand history. See, I've been doing it since 2014. I was the guy laughed at, right? And even the guys before me in 2011, the creators of the actual Bitcoin protocol, the blockchain, where all this came from. And what's happening, the parallels to the stock market, the birth and the growth of, if you do your history search on how, the fundamentals of stock for a company, right? What we're talking about now is blockchain and artificial intelligence for how to run your company. I mean, you can run things now with, I'm starting to see, right? The creation of these avatars that you can make sing and dance and make cartoon characters. Boom, you produce a music license, it's out the door within days. That would take years to develop. Same thing with the investment process. As Bitcoin, blockchain, and all that has grown over the last 10 years, right? What do we do next? Well, remember in the stock, we got options, we got ETFs, whoa, these are new vehicles to invest for the smaller guy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember the ETFs allowed every, and the mini S&Ps, allowed for smaller leverage so I could trade. That I was, I go against the banks. That's Bitcoin in cryptocurrency today. What's happened though, it has overpowered the people are like, whoa, this wave of just crypto and this new way to buy and sell. And here's where we are now is the legalization, I guess, of mutual funds, the Winklevoss twins who pushed for legislation to make this a reality. And the options, there's a guy like, is this a real asset to trade? And now we're like breaking off and doing things like NFT. What is it? We're just trying to figure
what
out.
is an NFT? Can you
Yeah,
help?
I'm gonna get right to that, and you're gonna go, no, you're gonna go, no, it's not. No, it's not. So you have, what? So you have the banking system options and all the ways to trade, right? Butterfly spreads and options and diagonals and short selling and all you can do to manipulate money, right?
Yes, right.
So those things are now coming over into crypto land, but in a crypto way.
Oh,
okay. Yes, because
so the language is the same, but it's just different.
And we don't have the SEC regulations, and I don't have to. No. We're doing it in a game version, or it's called cryptocurrency, or it's now called non-fungible tokens, where I can take $1. Let's say the apple is worth $1.
Okay.
But I want to make copies of that apple and sell it. But and we're going to call it non-fungible because you don't actually ever own the apple. You're going to own a something you can't touch, but has almost equal value.
What?
It has equal value on a scale that trades over here, which is a marketplace, which is OpenSea and all the they trade it. And this representation that's valued at $1, right? That apple's just $1 over here.
Okay.
But I've now taken it and I put a 3D video. That apple spins now, and there's an art form to the apple, and I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell this version, this artwork, and see if there's if somebody would like to take this apple and place it in a game. They're selling swords to the games. You can now brand your own sword, take your sword into battle at the games, at PlayStation.
Wow.
You can sponsor the blades, sponsored by Red Bull. Eddie Corral fights today at 3:00, and he's going to sell his sword. At the end of the game, that sword could be worth $10,000, $20,000. That's happening.
So this is what the world we live in right now. And
Well,
so what do you say to the people that mentally can't keep up with this and they're going like, wait a minute, because 20 years ago, like you said, it would take 6 or 7 years for something like this to even begin to start working. Now it's working before our mind can even understand what just went down. So how do we exist when things are moving too fast for us?
Man, that is like the super intelligent question there. That's That, what's interesting is that I did a study with some other teams a long time in the trading patterns of the market.
Mhm.
People measure high and low, but what they're not looking at is time. Go look at any chart. See what I say. In the 7, 3, and then 13-day range, you'll see boom. You see the wave, but this is how people would time the trades. And
Yeah.
so when you look at the exponential factor of growth, like when Facebook came out, or the commercial that shows they put a product out and then they're like cheering because it sold some, but then whoa, it sold 1 million, in a
Yeah.
second. Or that is a factor we don't. It does this. There's a calculation for it, and it's just that's what we're seeing, and people aren't ready. You're right. Before you know it, the robots are already in Amazon. Have you seen those videos and of
Yeah.
the way the artificial intelligence packages the Amazon store? How many packages they're moving a second?
Yeah.
It's
I've
like by
seen
the
it.
millions across the country by a robot that's doing all this, and just a few people make sure it's going into the trucks.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, but cut costs by not, here we go with that discussion, right? So
Yeah.
you're right, because now all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute, the intelligence of artificial intelligence has just like people are going, God, it can do everything. I don't need to play, I can play chess against my own mind to
Wow.
determine how wrong I am, to better myself. So not only do I learn to better myself through the artificial intelligence is learning itself. That's what
Now
AI
you,
is.
Ed,
It's always
you too
bettering
far ahead
itself.
of us, Ed. You way too far. We can't comprehend this. This is too much.
But here's the last point, because it's always bettering itself. So here's my last just 2 seconds on all it. Now you need mankind to share the data to help and that's what I see with Bitcoin and crypto. And I mean, it's made a lot of people that normally would just never have the opportunity to make money. I mean, you're talking about a lot of computer nerd guys that sit in the closet, just, that had a little mining machine,
Yeah.
that and did coding work for some company and made side money, but now they're worth, I know a lot of these guys, and you're right. That's where the digital age is moving so fast.
Is
So fast,
is that having an impact though? Is it having an impact on housing? Because you got more people who are willing to pay more for things because they have the money to do it, because they made this money already that people are trying to learn about. Is that helping make it hard? Because I was just having this conversation with my sweetheart. She was like saying, "Well, okay, you sell the house and you get more money, but when you get ready to go buy one, you're gonna pay more. So you really didn't. We really ain't gonna make no money. We need to hold on to it." So, is that
well,
what
okay,
happening? Where
see that boy, that's a good question too, because then you have to decide: are we taking our current life and using this property as a way? And if you're going to do that, then sell it, make money, go find another, and keep it going. Or do you set up a little, real estate business at 10% down, no money down strategies, and buy couple properties, right? Get them cash flowing. A strategy we always used was the 10 for 10. You buy 10 houses, and with 100,000, that's 1 million, and they all pay off in 15 years, and you're a millionaire, right? If you
yeah,
just
yeah.
maintain 10 houses. And there's a lot of little companies for that, that can do that. But I think those are decisions. Again, it goes back to like planning, right? Do
Mm.
you, if we're going to go for profit, baby darling,
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
tell her like, well, we're gonna, that means we might have to move every 2 months or every week. But if we're
But
stacking,
I think the biggest concern that my sweetie has is is
being stuck.
there's a Bitcoin wealth that is coming a lot quicker, where
Mm.
people have more to spend than the ones who
Oh,
work every day. So you're competing against a different kind of wealth that you don't even understand. And so when you go
oh,
into a house and say, "I'll buy that house," the Beeple piece that sold for 69 million,
yeah,
somebody went in probably saying, "Well, I'll buy it for 3 million. I bet I get it." Right. And then you
yeah,
got this guy who made a lot of money off of blockchain, who decides, no, I'm willing to pay 100 million for this, and he pays the 69 instead. But now you're going like, okay, I'm competing against that. That's a little bit different.
Or look, and here's a reality right here in Houston. Tesla opened up a dealership. You can buy a Tesla with Bitcoin. So here's a scenario. How about that kid that has 100 Bitcoin right now? What, 100 times what, 50,000, 58,000, 5 million? But a few years ago, it was only worth, $3,000. But now he can walk into Tesla with 1 Bitcoin, pay for that car on his phone, scan the Bitcoin, they get it at Tesla. Here's the keys. And he could get a midline or bottom line Tesla right now. Bitcoin's at 58,000, but the kid had 100 already just stacked. You're right. Now look at that economy, right?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
years ago, what was 100 worth? Maybe 50,000 to him at the. You couldn't buy a car with 1 Bitcoin. But that's a very good point. There are people that actually take Bitcoin for property. So you're right. Does the guy who had the Bitcoin get the house faster? Right? Hey, look.
It is a concern because it's starting to happen. You know what I mean? But what about
Yeah.
CEOs such as yourself? What about CEOs? How is this impacting how you do business?
Well, for me, because I manage and run and with CEOs, you got to know everything, right? Including how the to be successful, you better know how the water gets to the house and what happens with the sewage. Everyone always forgets that part of the business. And I've had to survive off these SBA grants, loans. I tell you, for whatever that's worth, that's just been, what a tremendous program, what an infusion to help. I'm firsthand at it. We were entertainment, music, booking, technical, building ticket systems for venues in our business over, $50,000 contract gone. We don't know what the future of booking shows are going to be, and we can't afford a ticket system right now. Gone. So for myself, managing and positioning is what we've been doing for the last year. And, at some point I said, God, I got to get back into mining. I used to enjoy it. I liked it. It was a way so I've been mining. I built my own system here at the house, and we've repositioned and repivoted our company, Peer Tracks, which was an instant royalty payment. So musicians post your music, you get paid your royalties the next day. And so you could cash it out to Bitcoin or you could cash it out to US currency.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a great little system, but it didn't get the mass appeal from the majors, and you got to have that whole ecosystem to really make a machine move, to have the catalog of music. So we pivoted and got into this, virtual reality. And then I had met a little Japanese guy at one of these music conferences. Mm-hmm. And he says, come on over and listen to new sound of Sony. I said, oh, okay. And it was 360 music all around. It was just a different way to hear music. And he goes, technology not ready, but friendship ready. Here's business card. He goes, here's business card. When you're ready, I make happen for you. 3 years later, he remembered. I'm at Sony San Diego, and they've invited me to go to Japan, and we're partners now on the new technology, and he helped me, that same little guy. Now I have his turns out he's one of the inventors of the technology.
Wow.
So it's just, you never know who you meet, and it was like, wow. And like he offered, would you like your Peer Tracks platform to incorporate? So we're number 9 in the world, that has the ability to play the true 360 sound. Okay. And you do it to get the full immersive, you've got the full Sony headphones that just make it. I mean, we're working with a lot of the rappers. So one guy wants to have the sound like a bullet going like right through past your ear. So it's the sirens, you can feel like the blades of the helicopter just, whoa,
right there over your head.
Right there. Right. You feel the leaves off the ground.
That's gonna change music for real.
It is. I think, and if anything, a difference. How about the EDM guys, the mix guys, or the DJs in the clubs? I mean, you could we're talking about maybe outfitting a club here in Houston with the three, because it takes 13 speakers. So
Okay.
I have a custom studio. I mean, I have a Genlec 13 surround speaker system for playback. So, to hear it big, and then we mix on the headphones. We want to take that into a club and actually give you the real 360 sound in the
Ooh,
club. So you can
ooh.
feel like, whoa, what is that? The hell, here comes a car. You'll feel like, whoa. And
What?
you start mixing that in with hologram, and and that's where we saw our edge, was that everyone is so focused on the and rightfully so, the technology. But haven't you? Everyone always forgets about sound,
Yeah,
but
sound still matters.
and it's always the last thing. Like everyone's like looking at and here's where we found another
No,
application.
hey, pause for a second. Pause for a second. You make me think of you can go back to the basics where you say, they put a concert together, they put all the work, and then when the concert happens, the artist on the stage sounds awful. Like you saved the last
Oh,
money just to get the sound equipment. Like
right.
sound still is a dominant, most important. It sets the tone of anything you're dealing with at the end of the day. So go ahead. Now you can finish. I just
No,
want to make
yeah,
sure
and
people.
that's exactly what the gamers said. It's like you do feel, there are some sound techniques, but everyone that's playing the games are going, whoa, couldn't it be more? That's what we're doing. We're now going to hopefully bring in mainstream music. If you think about the music in games now, it's always that robotic type of feel, or it's maybe a spin-off of a hit record that sounds robotic. It always, for gaming, and then they're repetitive. But now the idea is to put, that Post Malone sound in some of these games, or the more of the rock and roll metal, or maybe some hardcore hip hop to accent the game. And
Right.
not only do you bring that in, but then make me feel like it's all around, because you're playing the game that way. You're 360 in the games.
Man.
And so that's our niche. That's what we found and said, but let's not make it just to the games. Why not the consumer? Because a lot of the consumers don't play games, but they may want to hear a 360, like, whoa, that's a freaky mix on that. So
Yeah.
I mean, you're moving the drums everywhere. You're making guitars really fill out, like you could touch and play the guitar. It's that kind.
Man.
And it all has to do, if you get the original mix, a good clean mix. And a lot of those, I mean, tracks are very clean. You can, you can make
You
some
can
things
just do
come
some
alive.
magic.
Yeah.
Man. I think that's gonna, I heard an artist say that you thought technology was going to make it more beneficial to the artist to end up with more of their money from their music, but it actually took it away. This seems to be something that'll give the artists more of what they are a part of, as opposed to, because it's reinventing music and reinventing the value of music in terms of where it's needed, because there is so much sound needed in so many places.
Right. And the NFT concept, and this may bring some, that now these NFTs, that some of the yes, the reason people sold, a lot of people knew that artist. I don't know if anyone knows the story of him, but he was a digital graphics artist that he gave away his artwork for 15 years. He gives away like top of the line 3D, just beautiful art. And so he decided one day he's going to sell it all, and he put it up as and so somebody in the world knew his work, and like, wow, I get to own that whole digital collection. It's equivalent to maybe one or two pieces that you hang on the wall. But this guy's
Wow.
got everything, and now he can monetize and go and collect for people using that artwork, right? So that's where
Wow.
his value is on the collection. I think he's already been offered 129 million for it. There was another
What?
guy. Did you see? He's holding on to his collection. I think he bought it for 22 million, and somebody's already offered him 40. He thinks it's worth more like 80 or 100. In digital world, these are real numbers. It's a billionaire's game. It is,
It's definitely that.
but it's also the guys who mined Ethereum long time. There's a lot of people, like you said earlier. You're right. It's the people who have large sums of cryptocurrency sitting on. Oh, I think I'll buy this today.
Exactly. I met a young lady. She does. She lives. I think she lives in Europe, and she's like 23, and she doesn't have a job, and she travels the world trying to explain to people that Bitcoin is worth something. And she says, and she was trying to explain to me that she owns a bunch of Bitcoin, and there are companies that will give her a loan, so she can live in a real world based on her Bitcoin value and do just like anything I could do. And she says, I don't give up my rights to my Bitcoin. People take a loan against it.
Oh, right.
And she says she's been able to travel the world and live a good life. All of just
Yes.
she treats her Bitcoin like a house. So if you
There's-
had a $4 million house,
Yes.
you wouldn't just sell it. You'd hold it, and you might take a loan against it. Well, she does that with Bitcoin, and she said it's allowed her to live the life she's never thought she could live.
There are people setting up little mini banks. Yes, or loaning. You need a quick loan. I trust you. Here, you know what? Here's some Bitcoin. Use it how you want, but I want a Bitcoin and a half in 90 days. Simple math. Here's a little agreement. We put it in a smart contract if you want. In 90 days, I get it back. Pay the interest. Simple.
Wow.
Simple. And so
That's
what's
crazy.
happened? Yeah, and so what's happened? You get the bank. That's what. Well, here's why it's going even further, because the banks are going, holy cow, we don't. It's like gold. Nobody's got enough gold sitting in the reserve if somebody needed to really cash out. Same thing here. We don't have enough Bitcoin to service our customers that are asking for it every day. And so you keep the scarcity just so now customers, hey, can I just want $1,000. Can I get $1,000 of Bitcoin? And you can charge you think the banks are, hey, yeah, come on over. Yeah, we got some Bitcoin. We got a little bit, not much. That's why they keep buying or mining. And it's just this process that's just going to keep going and go. And it's already trickled down to like your friend, right? Already loaning out the Bitcoin to get wow.
So here's the big question. We've talked about what Bitcoin and Ethereum and NFTs are, but what would be something that isn't that, so we don't get confused, because there's so many people hyped about it, and they'll start thinking, oh my God, I just got to get in anything NFT, anything Bitcoin, and end up getting, on the what I call the wrong side of that of that opportunity.
Man, that's such a great question, because it's like, you know what? It's like the people who get the mad rush of stocks, remember? And then you bought the penny stock, it goes up, and then hey, well, know what you're buying kind of concept or rule here, but you're right. There's only a handful of platforms that really offer the legitimate NFT tokens, and I already see the fraud coming. They're talking about putting it in the porn business and all kind of wait a minute. The concept here was selling these tokens for artists. It was more designed for the graphics artist who's got all this digital artwork, and there was a way to monetize and get it into the games, and it's creating its own. Hey, I'll give you $1,000 for that sword because we know someone else is going to buy it for $5 if I can do good in the games, right? So it comes down to know what platform you're on, and really knowing the crypto game. You got to know it pretty much. It is a little bit of a learn, but once you're in, the rest of it kind of you learn, like anything, buying stocks, right? I'm sure a lot of people that you've worked with or talked with, just the basics, right? What do you tell somebody that's never bought a stock? Okay, look, get over to Charles Schwab or Fidelity.
Yes.
Read, go. If you could tell anybody anything, if you got to get past that, but you got to go from that little 500 in your bank account over to brokerage firm before we can even play or talk. And you've never bought or sold. Okay, let's get past that. Yeah, same thing with crypto. It's kind of like, remember when PayPal came out? Right. Everybody, what is PayPal?
What is PayPal?
Right. Or how about the new ones, Cash App and Zelle and all the little phone ones now, right?
Right.
And now you want me to go to what now? Coinbase? Well, Coinbase is like PayPal, right? Same thing, but they deal in crypto. So Coinbase or Gemini would be the equivalent to like a Charles Schwab or Fidelity to get started in crypto. To if you're going to do it right, play safe and
Yeah, you
learn.
got to go to the big boys.
And
Bottom
that's
line.
right.
I used to tell people this all the time. I'd say when I first got into this, I said, listen, I appreciate what Robinhood has been doing, but Charles Schwab is the king. And so you can trade with Robinhood all you want, but I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna find out the differences in a soon little while of the cans and cannots.
Better to stay with Ford, Dodge, and Chevrolet, at the end of the day. I mean, those are the brands still around, right? I mean, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, and it gets it done, I guess. There are other ones, right? And there are more specific crypto, but there are same thing in stocks or boutique firms and people that specialize on certain aspects of the industry, on the stock side. And so again, but those are reputable companies to at least know your funds are safe. Yes. Are there Bitcoin scams? And yes, but if you look at any of the theft in Bitcoin, it has been insider jobs, people that know the passwords, and somebody said, what do you think about all the Bitcoin that's stolen? Well, how many banks got robbed today? Where real money, and if we're taking the Bitcoin to get the US money that is being stolen. So it's a vicious cycle to blame. I think we're past all that. I think people are now seeing, wow, there is, Elon Musk, everyone, because it's what I'm saying. The banks know they have to have it, and there's not enough there.
I'm going to close with this. I got this question because as the digital world becomes something that is a norm,
yes,
customer service seems to lack. So what are we going to do about that problem where when Cash App steals $8,000 out your bank account because someone frauded you because they look like a family member that was in dire straits, so you sent them money and they end up getting all your Cash App money out, and then you try to call Cash App and you can't get anyone on the phone. And in the digital world, they seem to get rid of customer service. So how are we going to fix that problem?
Now, you said this was at the end of the show. Do I hit the leave button now? do we go part? Hey, and that was Eddie Corral. We're going to have show part 2. We're going to get real specific on customer service on the next show on Antonio Live. Because I see a leave button here. Is this? Because you hit me with a really hard goodbye. Hey, by the way, Eddie. How do we get hold of you?
Hey, my job is to focus on growth and helping people, and I see that as an issue coming.
Oh, it is. It's horrible. I agree. Look, and Coinbase, a few of them do get back. Now they've gone through a very big growth state. They hired 600 people just for customer service. Their growth took off. But you're absolutely right with everything else and even the traditional services. God, have you called your bank lately? Chase or all? I don't.
You can't get them on the phone.
Nah, they don't play the phone anymore. You're right.
Yeah.
And didn't they say if you want help, go to our website, and then you go to the website, call us at this number.
Hey, Eddie, how can people reach you, man, if they need to get you, man? Thank you for sharing your thoughts on NFTs and Bitcoin and blockchain and all that.
And as you can tell, I talk a mile a minute on this stuff. I love it. That's all I do. But they can reach me at eCorral, ECORRAL, at peertracks.com. PEERTRACKS. Peertracks.
All right, man. Thank you, Ed, man.
Antonio,
I appreciate
Thank you.
Man, have a great day, man. And we're gonna be talking about this.
I'm here. Man. Call me anytime. Man. Call me on the hotline here for you.
All right, we'll do, man. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.